This video is going to talk about creating and managing email accounts on the FirstWA domain. Specifically, we're going to cover how to create an email account, how to create an email forwarding account, how to create a multiple address or a group account, changing passwords for someone, and how to remove an email address that's no longer going to be used. All of our controls for dealing with the email accounts are on our control panel. The site for it is www.powerdnn.com. Our account is admin@firstwa.org. So in a web browser, I've opened up powerdnn.com, and there is a little login button up in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to use our admin mail address and our admin password. If you don't know what that password is, you'll need to ask one of the administrators for it. We keep a pretty tight rein on this since we have a lot of people using the system, and many of the functions that you can do in here are not reversible. So we're going to sign in. First thing that we're going to do is create just a standard email account. That a standard email account creates a mailbox for users to collect and send email. It gives the users access to their email via the webmail, and it also allows them to have POP3 access so that they can use their favorite email client. To do this, all of the functions that we're dealing with are down here in the mail area. So I'm going to click on Create Mail Account. You can give it an email address. It shouldn't have any spaces in it. So we'll call this new guy at firstwa.org. Now we need to give them a password, and especially when you're creating a mailbox. So we'll give them a password that we will be able to send to new guy. Now the rest of the panel is actually pre-filled in for you. The important points, if you are creating a new email address, is that the mailbox control here needs to be checked, and that will actually create the mailbox for the mail to go into. There are a bunch of other options here that we'll go into here in just a minute. And to get back to see all the mail accounts, you can use this little breadcrumb up here and click on Mail Accounts. And this is the list of all of the email accounts that we're currently using. And if you come down, you can see that we now have new guy. Let's talk a little bit about what this control panel has on it. The B tells you whether there's a mailbox. And so most of our accounts don't have mailboxes, but you can see some of them do. Okay. The R column tells you whether this is a redirect or an email forwarding account. The G tells you whether it's group mail enabled, and what that means is that you can send mail to that address and it'll go to a group of people. And then the other is for an autoresponder, and we are not going to get into that. The most common that we actually have in our system are mail forwarding accounts, and this creates an address that immediately gets forwarded to another address. Most of our email addresses at FirstWA are mail forwarding accounts. They're not stored, and there's no access to any of this via the web. So to create a mail forwarding account, also known as a redirect, you can create a new account, and I'm going to call it forward. And I don't need to give it a password because I'm going to come down here where it says mailbox, and I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to hit finish. You can see it's going to give you a couple of warning messages. Those are fine. The next thing you're going to need to do is come down to where it says redirect and turn this on just by clicking on it, and it'll bring up this little screen that you click this box, and that will enable the redirect, and we'll just redirect this to my personal account and hit OK. And now forward at firstwa.org will end up forwarding itself to my address. Now the next type of an account is a multiple address account. They're also called group accounts. And this works just like the forwarder, only it's going to have a group of addresses rather than a single address. You create a new mail account, and this time we're going to call this group at firstwa.org. No password, again, just like a forwarder. We're going to turn the mailbox off and hit finish. This time, instead of hitting redirect, we're going to hit mail group. So we're going to turn that on, or we're going to click on that, and we need to add some members. And so I've clicked on the Add Member button, and this will show you all of the addresses that are available. I'm just going to pick a few. Let's here we'll get Eric Stokely and Kevin Reed and Kevin Ross, and we will add all of those addresses to this group account. Now, it's allowed us to select email addresses that are hosted on our server. You can also add a new member and give it an address that is not a firstwallet.org account. In fact, you give it any address you want. So I'm going to put in kevinaro@live.com, and then I have to scroll down here to the bottom and hit OK. We've got now 4 addresses total. Now the important thing that you have to do is you have to come up here and enable that mail group by switching it on. If I go back to the mail accounts, now I can go down and find group. Here's group, and you can see that it is a group. It's group enabled. All right. If somebody has forgotten their password and needs to get their password reset, we can force a reset using this control panel. To do that, you again come to this list of accounts, scroll down and find the account that you want to change. Let's go change new guy. So here's new guy. I'm just going to click right on top of new guy. You can click on preferences and give him a new email or a new password. There you go, and hit OK. All right, so that's how you change a password. That was awfully easy. The exact same process will remove all 3 types of email accounts that we're using. So going back again to the list of email accounts, I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to find, well, we created forward for this demo. We created group for this demo. I come down, we also created, here's new guy. There's new guy. So I've selected those 3, and I'm going to come up and click on the remove button. And you have to confirm the removal right here and press OK. So this is all very straightforward. There were just a few fiddly bits that you have to deal with, but aside from that, maintaining email accounts on our system is actually quite easy.